All right, we're off. Can everybody hear me? Good afternoon. Nice to see everybody. Incredible to be in New York in the springtime. The Knicks are red hot. They're tearing through the Eastern Conference. We're thrilled you're spending the day with us. I hope it's been great. I hope you got to the keynote, some sessions, doing the most important thing you can do as a customer here, which is spend some time networking. We're thrilled to have you. We're gonna have a good session today. We're gonna go through some of how AI is impacting our SMB markets. We're gonna talk about the landscape and the changes. We're gonna show you some demos of some of our latest and greatest technology, and then we're gonna hear from an amazing customer, Ryan Teeples at 1-800-Accountant, on how Agentforce has really changed their business. I wanna say a huge thank you. I'm probably not the first one to thank you today. I probably won't be the last, but it's incredible that you spent your time with us. We're thrilled to have you here, and we're gonna make good use of that time. It's an amazing landscape right now in SMB. We're seeing a wild amount of change. There's this notwithstanding geopolitical change. We're seeing it every day, right? Socioeconomic movement, tariffs, uncertainty. There's also a massive pace of change in our workforce. I hired 300 people last quarter in my business, and these are digital natives that have new ways of working. They have different expectations of technology, and we're having to meet the moment at the same time as customers' expectations are evolving. We don't want to get on the phone and talk to a call center to solve a problem. We expect agents to help us in real time, and we need technology to meet that, but it's hard to keep up with the pace of AI, and it's really changed the priorities for SMBs. I have customers calling me every day trying to figure out how to consolidate their technology stack. Often they have 10, 20, 30 applications, and it's really hard to drive a cogent AI strategy when you have all this tech mess. And so they're trying to consolidate so they can leverage AI and data to scale, at the same time as they're trying to really do more with less, right? I run the SDRs at Salesforce. It's an incredible team for us, but our SDR agents are going to continue to transform that team and allow us to do more with less. Many of you are going through the same thing, and we're all trying to personalize at scale and create incredible customer outcomes. But it's not easy. And a lot of times we go into customers and they've done it themselves with AI. We call it DIY AI. And it's well-intended, and often the technology is good. But these do-it-yourself models, they can spill data all over the place, right? They're hard to integrate into processes with human workers. Often companies don't have the right technical expertise to actually pull these things off. And moreover, some of the biggest value in these models lies in your data across the organization, but often it's stuck in Snowflake or in Stripe or somewhere you can't get at it. And that's why we're so excited about our platform in this context. And it's pretty simple. We have the best applications in the world to help your human workers drive efficiency, and we're investing a ton there to make sure Sales Cloud, Slack, Data Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and all of our applications are meeting the moment and helping you execute. But we have Data Cloud. I had a customer tell me yesterday, if I recommended somebody start with Salesforce, I'd say start with Data Cloud. It is the big unlock to take all that trapped data and make it usable. And then of course, it's powered by agents. We have agents that can help you across every function to automate processes and take actions. And all of this is housed on our world-class platform and metadata to route these agents into real critical data to help them execute. We're seeing this across every industry. All kinds of different companies who are seeing incredible results. Thanks, Prasina Health, who's recommending insulin medication, and an agent's helping that process for customers. Engine, who's processing hotel cancellations using Agentforce. 1-800-Accountant, you're going to hear from in a second. Companies like Adobe Population Health, every vertical, every industry, agents are making a huge impact. Now, I could talk about this all day. Luckily, though, we have Charles here. Where is he? He's going to come up and show us an incredible demo of how Data Cloud and Agentforce are going to impact you. Charles, you ready? All right, take it away. Bing bong, let's go.
Thank you, Adam. And hello, everyone. As Adam mentioned, my name is Charles. I'm a solution engineer for small and medium businesses based right here in New York City. So data is fuel for AI. And you just heard Adam talk a little bit about some of the innovation that's happening, not just at Salesforce, but across the whole AI ecosystem. And as we continue to adopt increasingly sophisticated AI, data becomes a crucial ingredient for success. Whether we're leveraging prediction models or fully autonomous agents, needing to pull together different data sources is what's going to drive our businesses forward. And that's where Data Cloud comes in. It's the foundation of the Customer 360 and Agentforce. Data Cloud is a deeply integrated platform, so it brings together your structured and unstructured data sources. And with Salesforce's zero-copy partner network, we can connect to these data sources without migration or duplication, which means that your data can be put to work across Agentforce, the entire Salesforce platform, without inflating your storage costs. This allows us to activate our data in the flow of work across the Salesforce platform and Agentforce. So how does Data Cloud work? It starts by connecting to all those disparate data sources across your entire organization. This could be one or multiple Salesforce orgs. This could be external systems like your ERP or HR platforms. And thanks to Zero Copy, we can connect to external data lakes and warehouses like Snowflake, AWS, and Google Cloud. With over 200 pre-built connectors on the MuleSoft exchange, no matter where your data lives, you'll be able to bring it into Salesforce to help you run your business. Now, once we've connected to those data sources, we need to harmonize it and match terminology that might exist across systems to help us understand what that means in a Salesforce context. This creates a unified view of your data. Now, once your data is unified, Data Cloud native governance and security controls allow you to confidently manage access to that data, ensuring that information is only accessible to those with permission. And lastly, we're ready to activate. Data Cloud allows us to activate your unified data across any application, any workflow, and any agent. So as a solution engineer, customers often ask me, do I really need Data Cloud? Can I just use Agentforce without it? Or they say, I'm not sure I'm ready for Data Cloud. And my response there remains consistent. Agentforce reaches its full potential when your agents have access to all of the important information that lives across your business. But like we've just discussed, accessing and making sense of that data can be challenging. Data Cloud allows us to pull together the most up-to-date information across all of these different sources. Your CRM, emails, call recordings, external systems, unstructured data, any source. We can then provide that information in our prompt templates, which contain your business-specific instructions on what to do with that data. This enhanced or augmented prompt is then sent to the LLM of your choice, which generates a response that's not only intelligent, but directly aligned to your business's objectives. This is what allows Agentforce to leverage all of your important customer and company data to put into action across the entire Salesforce platform. So when Data Cloud and Agentforce come together, the use cases are endless. Today, there are over 100 pre-built industry skills, topics, and actions for you to get started faster. Don't just take my word for it, though. Let's see it in action with a quick demo. And I would love for everybody to please wave hello to our fantastic demo driver, Palak, as we get started. So here we are in Data Cloud, the foundation of the Customer 360 and Agentforce. When you have unified data as your foundation, we can generate better insights, take better action, and drive growth. Let's start by connecting to all those different sources across our organization. Like we mentioned earlier, we might want to bring in some existing data warehouses like AWS or Google Cloud or Snowflake. As you see, there are hundreds of out-of-the-box connectors available to you on the MuleSoft exchange because we want to make this as quick and painless for you as possible to reach value. Now, once we've created this connection, we'll need to do a bit of translation, matching the terminology that you might use in the data source to the standard and commonly understood data model in Salesforce. We can also understand the relationships between these various data sources with this easy-to-interpret visual data model. This helps ensure harmony across our systems and helps us understand how the pieces all fit together. Now, we also understand that your data might live in places that aren't so tidy. For example, you might have policy documents in a bunch of PDFs, or an existing knowledge base that could help you answer your FAQs. And chances are you probably have a lot of great information already accessible on your website. With Agentforce data libraries, we can provide these unstructured data sources to Data Cloud, which then automatically transforms it into a format that Agentforce can understand. So now that we brought together our structured and unstructured data sources, we can provide that context to our Agentforce agents. So let's see what that looks like in Agent Builder. Agents are built of topics, which describe the job to be done, instructions on how to go about that job, and they list the actions that the agent may need to take in order to accomplish its tasks. So we see here that in order to perform its job, this agent will need some CRM and external data, and it needs to access policies that we've then provided with our Agentforce data library. So let's go ahead and ask it a question. Let's ask for the return policy of my order. And we see that in order to answer this question, it needs to pull together who the customer is from our CRM, understand what that recent order was in our ERP, and then reference policy documentation that's in that file. So Agentforce has put together a plan to go about that task and generate the resolution that we need. So now that we've tested and we feel confident in our agent's ability to deliver on any task, we're ready to deploy it. Agentforce can be deployed to your websites, your Experience Cloud sites, your applications, and really any channel of your choice. And that is how Data Cloud provides the fuel for your AI. Thank you all. Let's please all give another hand to our wonderful demo driver, Pollock. And next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Andra.
What a demo! Hi, everyone. I'm Andra Hansen, and I get to work on the product marketing team here at Salesforce. Now, as Adam highlighted earlier, small and medium businesses everywhere are looking for opportunities to consolidate their tech stacks. In fact, in our most recent small and medium business survey, 46% of SMB leaders reported that they feel overwhelmed by all of the technology they need to use in order to do their day-to-day. Most small businesses are using up to at least 7 different systems just to run their day jobs. And I'm going to repeat that so it sinks in. At least 7 different systems just to complete their jobs. Now, that doesn't just create inefficiencies across the business, it also creates inconsistencies in the data, right? With 53% of SMB leaders indicating that there are inconsistencies from one tool to the next, which means that reps are swivel chairing in order to get the data that they need just to get their jobs done. Now, this disconnected data begins to create silos across the business, and many of those silos are created between 2 of the most hypercritical organizations in any business, your sales team and your service team. Right? This disconnection can lead to inconsistent customer experiences, increased IT costs from your IT teams maintaining multiple different systems, inconsistent customer experiences that lead to missed revenue opportunities across your team, and inefficient tools and technologies and processes that really slow your teams down. Customers notice this too, with 79% of them indicating that they expect a consistent experience when they're passed from one department to the next. I know that I sure expect that when I have a home service issue, and I'll bet that you do too. Right? So how do we break down these silos? Well, it starts with a single trusted platform. And this is where Agentforce really begins to shine. Uniting all of your apps across your Customer 360, AI and agents, all your data inside of Data Cloud. And what that looks like is, well, sales agents can go ahead and score leads for you and follow up on the lower priority leads, freeing up your human sellers to go ahead and close more deals and rake in the revenue. And you know what, on the service side of the house, well, service agents can go ahead and follow up with low priority cases so that your human agents can focus on higher priority cases, resolving those major issues with your customers and ensuring an optimal customer experience. This is the power of a complete and integrated platform, right? So how do we get started? Well, it's all about uniting those 2 teams, sales and service, together to help your teams reduce the IT overhead by consolidating all those systems that they're using today, right? By creating a hyper-personalized customer experience that allows you to turn first-time buyers into repeat customers. Unlocking new revenue through your service agents, allowing them to cross-sell and upsell through multiple channels. And of course, boosting team productivity with AI agents and automated workflows so that you're more productive than ever. And we're just getting started. Right? We're continuing to build out-of-the-box skills and agents to help your teams be more productive. A couple of examples are pipeline management and HR service agent, brand new. This is the power of a unified platform, all on Salesforce. So let's see some of this in action. And as we bring up the demo, I'd love to give a huge shout out to my demo driver, Rahil Mehta. Thanks so much, Rahil. So you'll see here, this is our seller home. Right? From Seller Home, our command center for every small business and every seller, we can see deals to close, open accounts, open pipeline, and opportunities to grow relationships. I want to go and check in on one of my top accounts, Omega Inc. So let's view our accounts and check in on Omega Inc. From the accounts view, we can see open opportunities, past opportunities, we can see cases that are open, and we just launched a new product that I want to try and upsell Omega Inc. on, and I see that there are a few critical cases that we might want some information on. So in the old world, I'd have to dig into each case, but in this new world, I can ask my AI assistant to summarize those cases for me so I know what's up with this account. And in just a few seconds, Agentforce is going to show me all these open cases so I know what's going on. Now, it can even take this a step further, right? And it can log a task for my service team to go ahead and start following up with those cases, resolve those issues so that they don't derail this deal. Now that's amazing, right? That's the power of these teams working together and having a unified view into all the data. But we all know that a great customer experience doesn't stop at the sale. So let's flip over to the service side of the house, right? On the service console, we see top cases, cases by type, current resolution times, and this gives me a great snapshot of my day if I'm a service agent. But I want to check back in on my top account, Omega Inc. Let's see what's going on there. From the accounts data, we get the same unified view as our sellers, so we see opportunities, cases, and a complete account history. Now I see that there is a brand new open case that I want to go and check in on. And as we open that case, this is not only an opportunity to resolve the customer experience and make a better customer experience, but it's also an opportunity to deepen that customer relationship. Now, in order to get their past purchase history, I'd have to check in on all the opportunities in the old world, but with AI Agent, I can go ahead and ask it to summarize all the cases so that I have summarize all of the purchase history so that I know how to create an upsell opportunity for my customer. And just like that, we've got a couple of different product upsell opportunities. And I can even ask my AI agent to draft an email to resolve this case and make product recommendations. In just a few seconds, we get a beautiful customer-ready email that combines resolution and revenue all in one step. This is the power of humans and agents working together to create productive teams across any organization. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I get access to all of this? How does it all work? Well, with Salesforce Foundations, if we could bring up the next slide. Perfect. With Salesforce Foundations, you get access to deepen your existing customer relationship and get more access to additional tools, all in your existing implementation with Salesforce. And my favorite part is that you get 1,000 free conversations with Agentforce just to see the value for yourself. All you have to do is scan that QR code today in order to get started. Now, that's enough for me. You're going to hear from 1-800-ACCOUNTANT, one of our awesome SMB customers, in just a second. But first, let's roll the film.
We're constantly trying to find ways that we can improve the level of service that we offer our clients while also increasing our efficiency. Agentforce allows us to connect to all of our internal data sources, find those answers, and scale at a pace that we previously did not believe was possible.
Right, Ryan, incredible to have you here. Thanks so much for coming in all the way from Salt Lake City. Let's hear it for him.
Thank you.
Amazing. We met, I think it's about 6 months ago. One of your Salesforce admins, one of your developers had gotten into Agentforce. They called it witchcraft at the time. They set it up. I don't know if you remember that.
But they meant it in the best way possible.
They meant it in the best way possible. But tell us a little bit about 1-800-ACCOUNTANT and some of your journey with Salesforce.
Sure. So we are a virtual accounting firm, and we have a software platform on the back end that supports our clients and some platform as a service. And our goal is always to provide a fantastic client experience for small businesses who are looking to get accounting and tax services that a larger company might receive. So we try to democratize good tax and accounting services to small business owners.
Yeah, amazing. And how many customers is that? Like, you think about a busy tax season for 1-800-ACCOUNTANT.
Yeah, so we're going to file somewhere just south of 100,000 returns in one tax season for up to 30 to 40,000 clients. And those are just our premium clients. We also have hundreds of thousands of freemium or non-premium clients that have similar needs, just at a smaller scale.
That's some year-over-year growth, right? The goal is to continue to grow.
Yeah. Our goal is to increase our retained our highest value customers by a pretty aggressive number, 50% year over year.
Incredible. So now you have Agentforce. It's helping you both internally. We talked about the employee agents, co-pilots, whatever we want to call them. We're calling them employee agents, and then you're also using it, in customer-facing capacity as well. Tell us a little bit about how Agentforce is helping right now.
Sure. So one of our biggest challenges in a service industry, one of our biggest challenges is that we can't grow without growing people, or historically that's been the case. You have to add people if you want to add clients. And it's compounded by the fact that the majority of our business comes in small periods of time around tax deadlines. And so trying to find a way to staff up during those times is very difficult, let alone during a time when accountants are fairly scarce and hard to hire. So what we found with Agentforce is the ability not only to provide the clients with a better experience, and we can talk about that more, but to be able to scale to where no one's waiting in long hold lines or waiting for their accountant to be available. They're getting instant answers even in the busiest times of the year, and answers that are accurate and in context to what they're doing in our client experience.
So taking on this digital labor, it's new, right? We have these agents now. They're autonomous. They're taking actions, and in a lot of ways, you almost have to care and feed for them a little bit like an employee, right? And there's some iteration involved in training them. What's that looked like for you as you've rolled this out? Any tips for the crowd that's thinking about doing this?
I'll steal something that I heard someone say from Salesforce yesterday, that you want to train your agents to not only have a brain, but have a heart. And we're finding that to be true, definitely, that you want to give them a little bit of personality and teach them to be very conscious and careful about your customers and their needs, and sympathetic to them. Whether it's agentic voice or agentic chat or even a back office agent, you want that to be customer centric, just like you would want your employees to be. The difference is, employees don't always listen when you tell them to treat the customer with a white glove. The agentic agent, the AI agents do.
Yep. I mean, they're omniscient, right? They can see all the data, they're ever present, they can look across, so the amount of capacity they can handle is amazing, and data is a huge part of that.
Absolutely.
Right? Obviously, these agents, the more data they have to play with, the more that they can execute. How has Data Cloud played a role? I said before, I think for many that aren't using Salesforce, that's a great starting point to get your data consolidated, zero copy. I know you're leveraging it. What's that been like?
So that was the point at which it became very clear to us that Agentforce would work for us. When we saw what Data Cloud could do to bring data from Salesforce, from our back office systems in AWS, from Google repositories, Salesforce knowledge, it doesn't matter where the data resides now, we can utilize it with an agent. And we don't have to bring that data into Salesforce. We don't have to pay high costs to house that data. Instead, with zero copy, it just calls from it. Keep in mind, in our business, our clients are creating millions of transactions a day on the finance side and on their bookkeeping. Now we can utilize all that data with our agents without having to replicate it in Salesforce or build some sort of complicated aggregation model to simplify it enough to be able to use it with an agent.
Incredible. So you had data from all corners. What was it like pulling that together? What was the project like? For those that maybe are thinking about this and they're intrigued by Data Cloud, they haven't jumped in. Sometimes we get the objection, hey, we have other data lakes, or we have other, and I think with zero copy, it's a lot different. You're corralling this data to take action on it. But what's that process been like to actually execute it?
At the beginning, it was so rapid we were a little bit concerned, or at least it looked too easy to be that easy. And we were an early adopter, so it wasn't. We had a little bit of hiccup just with the early adoption, but it's so easy to connect to new data sources, and it's not just internal databases, which are fantastic. It's also the internet at large.
Yeah.
Our agents are trained on the IRS website, and they know the tax code as well as some of our internal people do, and so adding those additional data sources sources is really a drag and drop interface. And I'll give a shout out to my guy Terrell, who works for us. He's not a developer, he's not a database administrator, but he's able to connect data sources on his own, utilizing the interfaces that are built within Data Cloud, and then building the agents on top of it with Agentforce.
Incredible. Now, we were talking over there, you mentioned there's some other agents on the way, right? You're not stopping. You've got some internal agents, some customer-facing service agents. What else are you going to build?
Yeah, we're really excited about the new pricing model. We're going to go crazy with internal agents. We do a lot with Einstein 1, and pretty much everything on our roadmap is an Einstein 1 use case, or if not an Einstein 1 use case, it's something on the AWS side integrated through Data Cloud. So pretty much everything fits within that. And then on the Agentforce side, we see opportunities for internal agents to provide, or Agentforce will provide support to our internal people, rather than reaching out to their boss or their supervisor or even a knowledge base. They'll utilize the agent to find answers quickly. There's really, I would guess there are 500 agentic items on our list that we have to get through that Salesforce will support, combined with our other platforms connected through Data Cloud.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity. I mean, even for my team, you think about corralling all of that knowledge and those assets and the industry perspectives and the customer stories and serving them for the right salesperson and the right opportunity at the right time. I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting time. So, putting your consulting hat on a little bit.
Sure.
For the folks in the room that are maybe thinking about getting started with AI and using Agentforce, they haven't taken the plunge, where would you start?
Data Cloud.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. I would start with getting Data Cloud up and running. The cost is now far less inhibitive than it used to be. Start connecting your data sources, and then if you're not comfortable with you building Agentforce agents to start, you get an Einstein 1 license. They're very inexpensive. Start building, their tool is called Copilot in there, but start building some internal agents. Is that the right term?
Yeah, employee agents.
Employee agents.
Yep.
Build employee agents, and then once you feel confident with that, you can start to build customer-facing agents with Agentforce. And it's a pretty natural evolution, and it requires very little cost. I think about the old days of data warehousing, when to stand up a data warehouse in its 1.0 version, you needed a year and $1 million.
Exactly.
Now, to do something like this, you need, a couple weeks and a little bit of know-how and someone who knows how to prompt an
And
AI
an admin that's not even a developer. I mean,
not even, and it's not a developer. And that's the other thing that I think is fantastic, is that end users are coming into the technology team because they're subject matter experts who understand what the client wants and needs, and they're the ones who are building the applications now. And so requirements gathering, where there was always a gap historically, is really closing because the end users and the developers have never been closer together.
Incredible. Well, we appreciate the partnership so much. We're just getting started with you all innovating, and I know there's a lot of growth ahead, so I want to say a huge thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for making the trip. I hope everyone got a lot out of it. All right. Well, here we are. Scan the QR code. You can dig in. You can learn more about how to use AI to transform your business. But I'll finish where I started with a huge thank you to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the session. We'll see you out there on the expo floor, and have a great day at the World Tour. Go Knicks. See you soon.